Howdy champs, my name is Mohit, and guys, today I'm going to teach you some basics of HTML and CSS for people who are starting out, people who are taking their first baby steps into developing into good future budding web developers. Okay, this lesson should be extremely useful. It'll lay your foundations firm. So let's start. Okay, first we'll check out some basics of HTML, and then we'll do a little bit about the cascading style sheets. Right. Okay, guys, the first thing that I'm going to do is in Dreamweaver CS 5.5 I'm going to hit this file new button. Okay, and under the page type, when I select the HTML option, guys, I have a lot of options to choose from. Of course, let me for the time being go with none. Okay, by default, guys, the doc type that Dreamweaver chooses for you is XHTML1 transitional. I'm going to change that. Let's say I'm going to use HTML5, which is the latest version of HTML, right? And let me have everything else just the way it is. Okay, let me hit the create button. Cool. So guys, this area is the code area, this is the design area, this white patch, and together we say that we are using the split view because this view shows the code and the design views together. Right, guys, I'm using the classic workspace. Let me reset it. Okay, let me also show you my local site folder. Now this folder here, which is my site, if I open it up, is my local site folder, and it has two pieces of music, royalty-free music. Okay, and so that's wallpaper mp3 and wallpaper.ogg. Okay, and I also have one more folder, which is the images folder, in which I have a picture. That's my son Aryan. Okay, so that's all that we have. Let's go back to Dreamweaver and let's learn the basics of HTML CSS. Now let's focus on the code area, guys. So this here in line number 1, where it says Doctype HTML, is the Doctype definition. Okay, now you can change this. You can change this even now. If I go to, let's say, a file and a convert, and let's say I go to XHTML1 transitional, you can actually see that the Doctype definition has changed. Right. Let me just say edit, undo, convert to XHTML. Okay, so I'm just back to the HTML5 Doctype. Right, now guys, for any HTML document you have to have an opening tag and a closing tag. So line number 2 is where the opening tag is, and line number 10 is where the closing tag is, and the only difference in the opening and the closing tag is this / obviously. Okay, after which, guys, we have the opening head and the closing head tags, line number 3 and 6 respectively. Right, guys, remember, whatever is there inside the head tags does not actually show up in the design area. That's the reason that this bit of code does not actually impact this area at all. Right. Okay, we have the character set set to UTF-8. Okay, guys, let me click anywhere where it says untitled document. Okay, and once that happens, I can go to the properties panel out here and choose a title for the page. Let's say my first website, although it's not my first website, guys, just a title. Okay, right, and you can see that it reflects out here as well. Okay, so that's my first website. Also, guys, when we are designing a web page, we take the help of HTML as well as CSS. So we need to have a cascading style sheet file as well that'll lend some style, some flavor, some to the web page, some fancy styles to the web page. And how do I do that? What I can do is, in this example, we'll be using an external style sheet, guys, although you can use an internal style sheet too. Never mind. So let's see how we can actually use an external style sheet. And to make that happen, guys, we can use the link tag, okay, like so. Okay. After which you need to use the relationship attribute, and you're telling Dreamweaver that it's actually a style sheet that you'll be using, obviously, okay. And you need to tell Dreamweaver the type. The type is nothing but it'll be a CSS text file, okay. So we are telling Dreamweaver that the type of the cascading style sheet is nothing but a text document, a CSS text document, okay. Not only that, guys, you need to use the href attribute to exactly tell Dreamweaver which will be the name of the what will be the name of the file that you'll be linking to this HTML5 document. You need to, so let's say my styles .css. If you already have the file ready, you can actually hit the browse button, okay, and then you can actually show the path. But since we don't have it ready, so since we don't have it ready, I need to manually type it. That's my styles .css. Beg your pardon. Right, we don't have the my styles. I made a typo out here, styles.css ready, but we'll be doing that in a while. Never mind. Okay, so far so good. Now, guys, let me save the file up. So let's say a file and a save, and my first website. So that's first website. Okay, let me save it up. Right, now, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select lines 1 through 7 like so, and I'm going to collapse it. I'm going to collapse the selection. That'll make it easier for us to see and work now. And now, guys, whatever appears inside the body tags is exactly what is going to show up on the web page. Right. Okay, let me start with the H1, the header one, opening and closing tags, okay, inside which I need to pass in a title. Okay, so let me say this is my first website, right, and that is how it actually appears on the web page. Okay, and let me pass in one attribute out here. Let's say the align attribute. Let me align it to the center. Okay, and you can actually see that it's centered itself. Cool. Next, guys, let me show you how to actually insert a horizontal rule or a line. Okay, you can just use the HR tag like so, and you'll have a horizontal rule. What if you need to insert, guys, a line break or an empty line? All you need to do is just use the BR. Okay, let me show you how things look like right now. Let's say in Google Chrome after saving the changes. So right now, guys, we have this title out here which is centered, and then we have the horizontal rule, after which we have the line break. Okay, that obviously you can't see, it's just an empty line. Right. Let's say next we want to have a container or a division in which we will be inserting a few more elements. So you do that. In fact, before I actually insert a div, let me show you how to play audio on your website. Okay, let's say we want a background audio that auto plays. So since we are using the HTML5 doc type, we can use the audio tag like so. So we have an opening audio tag out here, we can have a closing audio tag out here. Okay, and then we can pass in an autoplay attribute like so, and after which I can use the source attribute to tell Dreamweaver that yep, this is the file. Then I can just click on the browse button, guys. Now I have the MP3 as well as the OGG file. See, most of the browsers will either pay the MP3 or the OGG file, so that is the reason I need to have both in my local site folder. So let me select the wallpaper.mp3, okay, and let me copy this much. Let me just hit enter. Let me paste this much. Let me change this mp3 to OGG like so, right? And let's take a preview in Google Chrome to see that whether the sound is actually playing, and since it's been set to autoplay, we'll check that. So let's preview it in Google Chrome. Wonderful, so it plays in Google Chrome. Let's check out Firefox. Great. Let's check out Safari. Okay, so no issues at all. This is how we actually use the background music. So either the MP3 or the OGG files will make sure that the browser will pick up any of the two formats. Most contemporary browsers won't have a problem playing any one of the two, right? So that is how you can use the audio on your website. Okay, let's see what else we can do. We can, let's say, have a div. Now div stands for a container or a division, okay, and let's give it an ID as well to identify this division. Well, let me say my div. Okay, let me call it my div, and yep, let me close it as well. Since we have an opening div, we should close the div up too. Let's see how things look like right now. Let's say in Google Chrome after saving the changes to my first website. Alright, since there's nothing inside the div, it actually does not show up. Not a problem at all. Now guys, let me show you how to actually insert a picture inside the div. What I can do is I can use the img attribute. Okay, img is an attribute, and then you need to use the src. img is an element, guys, and src is an attribute. I'm sorry, src, you need to browse to the picture inside the images folder. This is the picture that I wish to use. Okay, and let me close the tag up, and there you go. The picture is now showing up in the division or the div. Okay, let's check it out in Google Chrome how things look like right now. Wonderful. Okay, now let me use let me have a paragraph just after it. So we need to have an opening and a closing p tags or a para tag, and let's type in this is my first website. How do you think it's shaping up people? Okay, and let's check out how things look like right now. Let's take a preview in Google Chrome. Cool. Okay, and guys, see what happens out here is the p tag or the para tag is in fact a block element. Now what happens when you have a block element, they occupy all the available space from left to the right and will not allow any other element to sit next to it, and that is the reason why it is sitting alone individually in a separate line, since the paragraph is a block element, right? Okay, so is there a way that I can actually float the text to the right of the picture? Yes, we'll come to that. Okay, now let's see how we can actually insert links, hyperlinks onto your website. Okay, and we can do that using the A for anchor tag, guys. A attribute, A tag, I'm sorry. So we'll use the A tag, and then we'll use the href attribute. So this href attribute actually lets you know which what will be the link, what will be the URL. So that'll be HTTP. Let's say, for example, my website //qualitylessons.net, and then guys, you can make sure that the page opens up in the same on the same web page or on a different new web page by using the target attribute. So let's say I'm going for the underscore blank. Now what happens when you use the underscore blank target attribute? It'll make sure that when somebody clicks on the link, it does not open up on the same web page but on a different blank web page, and we'll soon see that. So let me just complete this. Click here to visit my website. Okay, and let me close the anchor tag up. Since we had an opening anchor tag, we need to have a closing anchor tag where we've used the target and the href attributes, guys. We've used the href attribute to tell Dreamweaver that this will be the URL that you need to go and open it up in a blank web page. And let's refresh. Let's check it up in Google Chrome to see how things look like right now. Let me click on the link, guys. Okay, so you saw how we can actually use the href attribute and the target attribute to create a hyperlink. Okay, so these were some basics of HTML that you'll be using a lot. Now let's create the CSS to lend some style, some flavor to the web page that we have created, and let's see how we can actually do that. Cool. See, if I click on the mystyles.css, you get a message which says mystyles.css is not on the local hard disk. Obviously it is not. We need to create it. Okay, so let's get going then. So I'm going to say file, I'm going to say new, and then I'm going to go to the page type is CSS. I'm going to hit create. Okay, and so time that we started creating the CSS file. Now guys, if you notice out here, I'd used a division and it had an ID of myDev. Okay, so let's create some styles or some rules for this myDev then. So I'm going to say # myDev. Okay, then let me say let me give it a color, a background. Let's say a background color of blanked almond. Yes, you can use 147 color names, guys. Okay, and let's see how this actually impacts the things. Let me save it up first. Okay, let me call it my styles .css. Wasn't that the name of the style sheet that I'd used using the link attribute, guys? If you remember out here, I'd used the mystyles.css using the link tag I'd used, and the href attribute. I had told Dreamweaver that I'll be using mystyles.css as the external style sheet to link up with my HTML5 document. Okay, so let's see how things look like right now. Let me take a preview in Google Chrome. Okay, so we can actually see that the background color of the div is showing up nicely, but we can also see that there is no padding, no cushion for the division. Okay, the picture is sticking to the walls, and let's say I don't want that. Let's say I want some padding as well, so I can say padding of 5 px. Basically that means that I want a padding or a cushion inside the div of 5 pixels on all 4 sides. Okay, let me save things up and let me show it to you. You can actually see in the live view out here. Rather, let me show it to you in the browser. Okay, so we have that 5 pixels of cushion all around the picture now. Okay, so that's very cool. And right, so let's see what else we can do. Let's close it up. Let's say I want to define some some rule for the HR or the horizontal rule element. I can just say, I can use the width attribute, let's say, and let's make it 50% in terms of percentage. Okay, let's save things up and let's see how things look like right now. Let me take a preview in Google Chrome. Right, so the horizontal rule got truncated to a 50%. Very good. Right, let's see what else we can do. Let's create some more CSS rules. Let's say I want my H1, okay, to have a color of let's say Bollywood. Okay, let me save things up and let's take a preview in Google Chrome. All right, guys, let me go back to Google Chrome. Now, if you had noticed, the paragraph was actually just under the picture. Let's say we don't want that. We want it to be floating onto the right. How can we actually do that? That's not very difficult at all. What you can do is let's define some rules for the image. Let's say I want to have certain rules for the image, so I can just go like this. I can say let's use the float property and set it to left. Okay, let's save it up. Let's see how that actually affects things in the browser. Let's take a preview. Okay, so when I did that, you can actually see that the paragraph floated to the right and the picture went to the left. Okay, but at the same time, guys, the division collapsed, and we can avoid that by let's say using the height attribute. I can use the height out here. Let's say height is 500 pixels. Okay, semicolon. Let's see how things look like right now. So let's say save all out here. Let's take a preview in Google Chrome. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is temporarily I'm going to set the music off. Let me put a 1 out here and a 1 out here. Since there's nothing by the name wallpaper 1.mp3 and OGG, the music will halt. So that'll allow me to complete the tutorial in some silence. Okay, right, just temporarily. All right, so yeah, so let's go back to my style. So by using the height attribute, property, guys, I can make sure that the div does not collapse after actually having set the image to a float left. Okay, what if I want a border around the image? So I can just say border, and then I can say solid, let's say thin, and let's say brown. Let's use the color brown. Border all around the picture. Okay, at the same time, guys, I saw that the text was actually clinging to the picture, which means I need a right padding. So I can say padding right, Okay, and let's say a 10 pixels of padding. That'll offset the text away from the picture, that'll push it away. Okay, and let's close the curly braces and let's have a look how things look like right now. Let's check out Google Chrome after saving the changes to my first website. Not exactly my first website, guys. Okay, so you can actually see that we have a nice border all around, but then this this space inside does not actually look good, so I can actually tackle that quite easily. I should have actually used a margin out here, not padding, so that should be good. Now let me save changes up and let's take a preview in the browser. Let's in fact make the thin to a thick, let's say a medium rather, and save it up. Let's take a glance in Google Chrome. Okay, so looking very good, guys. This is how. So basically, guys, just some pointers on how to design your first website. These are the basics of the HTML and CSS, how you can actually work on them. So guys, I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope to see you very soon with yet another Dreamweaver tutorial. Could be Flash with ActionScript 3. Have a good day, guys. Peace.